Let me take a moment and talk about Riverside.fm. It allows you to record studio quality audio and up to 4K video. When you need to record audio and video, Riverside.fm can do it. So if you're looking for a hero platform for all your recording needs, from podcasts to webinars to any video content, Riverside.fm. I've got a promo code for you where you'll receive a 30% discount on the first 3 months of your subscription. I'll give it to you twice. The promo code is SHIPIT. All one word, SHIPIT, and you'll pick up a 30% discount on your first 3 months of your subscription. Riverside.fm.
In this episode of the Pigskin Dispatch Early Pro Football Teams, we discuss the original team from Shelby, Ohio, the Shelby Athletic Association, and the club's teams from the turn of the century. These stories and more coming up in just one moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com, your portal of positive football history. Welcome to the Pig Pen. We're glad to have you here once again on a Monday, and it is early pro football day. And today we're going to talk about a team from Shelby, Ohio. Now, Shelby, Ohio is a small industrial town nestled just north of Mansfield, Ohio, about equal distant of the larger cities of Cleveland and Columbus. Not quite dead in between them, just about equal distant though. Near the beginning of the 20th century, they, like many other Ohio industrial areas, found great fondness for the game of professional football. Shelby has some very interesting teams that played their hand in pro football history, and one of them, often known as the Shelby Athletic Club or Shelby Athletic Association, is a subject of our study of early professional football teams and franchises for this week. They're our team of the week. To tell a complete story of the Shelby AC's origins, we need to go to the beginning. The foundations of the Shelby Athletic Association team take us back to the end of the 19th century and a team of co-workers of the Shelby Tube Works factory, mixed with some local high school players according to the ShelbyOhioHistory.com website. Football entered the area at the high school level in 1894, and by 1896 football was moving to a whole new level in Shelby per the town's history website. It says that area adult men had evidently been watching and growing interest to local high school football teams and organized a men's team. It was primarily composed of men who worked at the Shelby Steel Tube Company. When they formed their team, they were known fittingly enough as the Shelby Tube Works football team. They were the first Shelby professional football team. A man by the name of Russell Johnston, who was the team captain in 1899, the Tube Works squad hired a guy by the name of C.A. Gleason as their head coach. The 1899 season for the club consisted in just one game played. It was against a traveling Newark Athletic Club from Newark, New Jersey, that was in the area. Newark was a tough foe, as they had blanked a local rival, the Akron Athletic Club, 25-0 just a few days earlier. Shelby would have its hands full with this experienced 11. They may have surprised even themselves as they went toe-to-toe with the more established foe and defeated Newark's AC team by the score of 8-5, a real tight one there. This brought on a surge of interest by the community in this pro level of football. By the late 1899 year, funds were gathered as the community wanted a team representing the town, not just the Tube Works. These monies built a sports complex in the area, complete with a baseball diamond and a football field with a few wooden stands. The old Tube Works squad would now be known as the Shelby Athletic Association to bring town pride to the forefront and give a true rooting interest in the area back to pro football. The excitement surrounding the new field brought other teams to be created out of the woodwork, like the Shelby Tigers, the Shelby Thunderbolts, the Shelby Second Team, the Fairgrounds team, and others. Football was in a frenzy in the small Ohio community, that's for sure. These teams started competing against one another and vying for the community's support. The Shelby High School team was mixed into the fray as the other squads were trying to even get their players to play for them too. To combat this, the Scholastic Gritters played and defeated some of the adult-level squads. The new enclosed complex allowed the association to charge a meager fee of 10 cents to every spectator at games, and the fans were more than happy to oblige, and it helped fund the field and the teams in part. As for the Shelby Athletic Association, in 1900, they kept their core players from 1899, but added more depth, making their roster almost exclusively employees of the Tube Works. The Athletic Association played 6 games in the 1900 season. They knocked off teams from Ashland's Athletic Club, Ohio Wittenberg University. They split a pair of games with Ohio Wesleyan University, then tied the Akron Athletic Club on a snow-covered field. A rematch a week later with Akron gave Shelby another victory and claimed to be the top team of the Ohio Athletic Clubs of 1900. The local fish wrap, the Shelby Globe, crowned the team as the Ohio State champions as a result of their victories. 1901, the team once again saw their more formidable roster lay claim to a second consecutive Ohio State title. A bit of controversy surrounded the team at the start of the 1901 season, though, as the boys reorganized and disassociated themselves with the Athletic Association. They would still rent the field, but would play 1901 as an independent team. The association soon dissolved and was replaced by another familiar name, the Shelby Athletic Club. The team that year, though, seemed to go by the mere name of Shelby. Russell Johnston was still very much a part of the team, and he spent quite a bit of effort in trying to get Ohio State University to play against his team. 1902 saw Charles Gleason move to St. Louis to pursue a new job, and Dr. Morton William Bland took over as a new coach. Frank Shifter was named as the new team manager, and he brought on some new players, including Charles Follis, a nearby Worcester College player who would later become the first black professional football player. Now, he played for the Worcester AC and was paid a little bit. Played for the, this Shelby team and was paid a little bit, but never under a contract. We'll talk more about him next week when we talk about the Shelby Blues. Another notable new addition to the roster was that by a man named Branch Rickey, who would later make some sports history of his own. We'll talk about Branch Rickey over on our Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast with a very near episode coming soon about him. The team was changing their uniforms too, and they would be blue in color that would lead them to be called by a new name, the Shelby Blues. And I think we might just stop right there and save that chapter of the Shelby Blues for next week's story on early football. So make sure you take a look next week at Monday. We're going to be releasing it on the Shelby Blues, our next week's team of early professional football. We're glad you could join us today. Make sure you stop at Pigskin Dispatch's podcast. Listen to the daily football history headlines that come out every single day. And also, just released, we have the Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast, another daily podcast coming up covering all sports history through the jerseys and the uniforms that the players wear. And we have some special guests on that each and every day to help us teach and learn some new football and basketball, baseball, and hockey traditions and history. And it's a real learning experience for me. It's a mission to educate me just like it is to educate you, because it's quite an endeavor, and I'm really excited about it. Make sure you check it out. Sports Jersey Dispatch. We're going to be dropping some feeds of that podcast into Pigskin Dispatch this week a few times, but you can go to your favorite podcast provider and find the Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast. You'll see the emblem is a blue and red JD on top of a shirt outline. You can't miss it. And yours truly is hosting that as well as some many guests that we're bringing in each and every day. So till tomorrow, everybody, have a great gridiron day. Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. we invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. A special thanks to the talents of Mike and Jean Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandom at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.